I remember when me and this guy ended up pulling up to the middle school, out of nowhere, he looks at me and ends up going into his backpack and saying, "Yo, Bubba, I brought the stuff, bro." "What do you mean the stuff?" is what I asked him. And then he ends up pulling out baby oil. This whole time throughout the whole school day, this guy had baby oil. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome to the most sus story I think I'm ever gonna tell on this channel. Now, before anyone decides to cancel me, I just want to say I was not the person that brought anything sus to school, okay? Like, this was not me, this was not my doing, but I was there to experience the most sus thing ever, and you guys will not understand until you guys hear this story. And this story all starts off back in my grade 9 year, and let's just say grade 9 was really weird for me, since it was the start of me going into high school, and honestly, me not knowing anyone nor anything about the high school life, I was really oblivious to all things. And since I was oblivious, getting into a friend group was not super easy. I remember I ended up becoming friends with people that I recognized back in middle school, and honestly, a lot of them were still super weird. Since middle school was full of weirdos, one of the people that I actually ended up meeting up with and becoming friends with in my high school, my grade 9 year, was this guy that we're just gonna call Jared. Now, Jared was an ultimate weirdo. No joke, for some reason for him, he always likes living in the past and thinking that his life back when he was in middle school had anything to do with high school. And for all those people that are coming from middle school to high school watching this video, I hate to break it to you, whatever happens in middle school stays in middle school. High school is a totally new, fresh start where you gotta make it up the popularity list or you're gonna be nobody. But anyways, I ended up hanging out with this guy that we're gonna call Jared, and basically me and him, we ended up going around the school and just discovering ways of, well, I guess enjoying high school. But this is where things get a lot worse, because I remember one thing that Jared could never let go of that was in middle school was his middle school girlfriend. Now, I know you guys are probably thinking, wait, this guy was in high school and he's dating someone from middle school? Well, you gotta understand, his girlfriend when we were in grade 8, she was in grade 7. So since me and Jared ended up going to grade 9, which is high school, let's just say his girlfriend got left behind back in middle school going into her grade 8 year. Now, me, I always thought Jared was really weird for this, but let's just say things got a lot weirder hanging out with Jared over time, because I remember every single day he would always end up texting his grade 8 girlfriend that was in middle school, and it was super cringe. And that wasn't even the worst part, because I remember one day Jared ended up walking up to me saying, "Yo, Bubba, I was just wondering, bro, do you want to, like, you know, stop by the middle school? I want to go see my girlfriend." Nah, I'm good, dude. To be honest, I don't really want to go back to that middle school. "Why, Bubba, bro? Like, come on, man. Like, it's just girls, like, and my girlfriend's gonna be there, and like, she has friends for you as well." When he said that, I remember I was ultimately not wanting to go, because I thought going back there just to pull girls was really just disgusting. Now, maybe some of you guys won't think that since it was a 1-year age gap, but you gotta understand, like, she was in a totally different school, and nor was I interested in anyone that much younger than me, or to be honest, anyone of that matter. Like, it was middle school. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember one day after school came around, and basically I was actually about to head home. Sadly though, my parents couldn't pick me up from school, so I ended up looking around the front of the school and I saw Jared, and he was basically waving over at me to come to him. When I went over to him, I remember I ended up seeing him, and I asked him, "Hey Jared, what you doing today?" "Oh, yo, Bubba, come bro, you gotta follow me. I'm about to do something crazy." Okay, sure." And at that moment, I remember me and Jared ended up walking up the hill to our old middle school, and as we were walking that direction, I knew in my mind that we were going back there. But obviously, I wasn't willing to turn back around and just go home because, well, we were already this far in. So I remember I ended up going up the hill with Jared, and when we got to our middle school, we ended up going to the middle school field, and that's when we saw her. No, not Jared's girlfriend, another girl. And this girl was like a lot younger, like I think even in grade 6, to the point where I looked at Jared and said, Jared, who's the girl we're meeting up with?" "Oh, bro, Bubba, she is one of the finest girls, and you would love her, bro." "Wait, what?" And I remember as we walked up to the field, Jared looks at the girl that was at the field originally that looked super young, by the way, and says to her, "Yo, so this is my buddy Bubba, and like, bro, he's single right now." I remember I ended up looking at her, and she looks at me and tries to start flirting with me. But obviously for me, I was not interested whatsoever, to the point where I ended up giving her the cold shoulder and basically said, hey. Yeah, literally nothing else. I didn't even say another word after that to her. I just said hi to be polite and then decided to just absolutely ignore her. Every time she asked me a question about me and Jared, or, you know, what are my hobbies, or really anything, I would just not reply, to the point where Jared looked at me and said, "Bro, are you like nervous to talk to girls? Like, I didn't think you were gay or anything." "Nah, it's not that, Jared. It's just like, she's young, dude, and she goes to my old middle school. Like, can't you just leave middle school in the past?" At that point, Jared just got annoyed with it, and while one thing led to another, I just ended up leaving them both alone. phone. But let's just say since I left, things got a lot worse for Jared. Because the next day when I went to school, I remember I ended up seeing Jared sitting in the cafeteria. Except he wasn't all excited and happy. He actually was being really sad. So I walked up to him and said, hey, like, is everything okay? What happened? And that's when he started bawling his eyes out saying, Bubba, it's all your fault, bro. This is all your fault. Like, why did you have to leave the other day? What are you talking about? Is what I asked him. And that's when he ended up pulling out his phone and going through the messages between him and his girlfriend that was still in middle school. I remember I ended up seeing a photo of the girl we met up with yesterday and Jared. And basically, she ended up breaking up with Jared since I left them both alone and she thought he was cheating on her. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't blame the girl for thinking that because, well, I guess Jared still prefers the middle school type. But I'm gonna be honest, since I saw him bawling his eyes out and blaming me for what happened, I ended up telling him, yo, bro, okay, you know what? We can go to the middle school and try to make it up to her. You should think of like a romantic gesture just to get her back. At that moment, I remember he looks over at me and starts shaking his head, yeah. And, well, I guess he already had something planned, but I wasn't sure what. I remember when the bell rang for school to start, I ended up going to my classes, and one thing I realized was that Jared actually ended up skipping school. I didn't know if he went to go make his romantic gesture, but let's just say he ended up leaving the school and not coming back until finally after school came around. And this is where things get really sus. Because after school, when the bell rang, I ended up getting a text message on my phone from Jared. He ended up texting me saying, yo, Bubba, meet me in front of the school right now. Okay, is what I texted him back. And I ended up meeting him in front of the school. When I did, I remember I ended up just seeing him with nothing but his backpack. And he looked at me saying, okay, Bubba, I know that romantic gesture that I want to do. Okay, cool. What is it? You'll see. Come follow me. At that moment, me and Jared ended up going back up the hill, going to our old middle school and went to the field. And when we went there, we ended up seeing his middle school girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend at the time, I should say, with another guy. At that moment, this girl got super annoyed and really upset to the point where he actually ended up going and yelling saying, babe, please take me back. I love you. I'll show you how much I love you. And I was cringing out so hard to the point where, no joke, this guy ends up pulling out baby oil from his backpack and he ended up putting it all over himself in front of the middle school kids. I don't even know what to think at this point. Like, I was really sussed out. Like, no joke, I don't even think Diddy would pour that much baby oil on himself for the middle schoolers. But no joke, at that moment, I was looking around thinking, what should I do? And then out of nowhere, Jared's ex-girlfriend ends up walking up to Jared saying, gee, babe, you know how much I love baby oil. The smell of it makes me so happy. What? Is what I said in my mind, super confused on what in the world was going on. And when one thing led to another, while Jared was drenched in baby oil, they actually ended up making out on the field. Yeah, super disgusting. I gotta say, super weird. And as for all the other middle school guys, and including the guy that I guess this girl was cheating with, I don't really know what the situation was. He ended up standing beside me saying, yo, bro, aren't you guys in high school? What are you guys doing back here? You don't want to know, is what I told him. And well, that was basically how he ended up getting his ex-girlfriend back. Honestly, they ended up breaking up 2 weeks later. All I'm gonna say is that once you're out of middle school, stay away from there. The kids don't want you, especially if you're Diddy with baby oil. But if you guys are not weirdos, then follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.